Hey future scholar, welcome to the first part of this tutorial on how to apply for the 2024 DOST SCI Undergraduate Scholarship. On this part, dahil hindi pa po available ang link para sa e-application system, i-discuss ko po sa inyo kung sino ang pwede mag-apply, kailan pwede mag-apply at ano ang mga requirements. Now, ang una nyo pong dapat gawin ay access ang e-scholarship application system. Just type ugrad.science-scholarships.ph and click enter. Simulan po natin sa kung sino po ang pwede mag-apply sa 2024 Undergraduate Scholarship. So, pwede kang mag-apply kung ikaw ay graduating grade 12 male and female student in school year 2023-2024. If you are under the STEM strand, lahat po ng estudyante under the STEM strand ay pwedeng mag-apply. Pero pag ikaw ay under the non-STEM strand, you must be in the top 5% of the graduating class. Ibig sabihin, kailangan po, halimbawa, meron pong 100 students sa inyo pong graduating class. So, yung 5 lang po or yung top 5% lang po yung pwede mag-apply, no? If under the non-STEM strand. So you can also apply with a scholarship if you are graduate of grade 12 before school year 2023-2024 and did not enroll in college yet. Ayan. So graduate ka na ng grade 12 pero di ka pa nagka-college, pwede kang mag-apply sa scholarship. Still, if you are under the STEM strand, lahat po kayo pwedeng mag-apply. But if you are from the non-STEM strand, you must be in the top 5% of the graduating class. Pwede ka ding mag-apply if you are graduate na of high school no before the K to 12 program as long as you belong to the top 5% of the graduating class or the graduated class kasi before the K to 12 program. Ayan. So other qualification is you are a natural born Filipino citizen, must be of good moral character and in good health, and you may have taken the DOST SCI undergraduate scholarship examination but did not qualify, or di kaya you may have qualified for the DOST SCI scholarship but you did not avail the scholarship award, o di kaya you have not taken any USC-SCI Undergraduate Scholarship Examination, pwede ka rin po mag-apply. And lastly, you must not have earned any post-secondary, halimbawa college or vocational units. Ayan, dapat hindi ka po pa talaga nakakapag-college or nakakuha ng mga units sa college. Dapat po next year, sa school year 2024-2025 ka pa magka-college, magfa-first year college. Ayan. Next po is when to apply. Ayan, so nagsimula po yung ating online application period noong October 17, 2023. At ang last day po of request for school inclusion in the e-application system will be on December 15, 2023. So halimbawa po during the application process, if hindi nyo po makita sa list yung name ng inyong school, need nyo pong mag-email sa amin ng details ng school po ninyo para ma-include po namin siya sa system at para makapag-proceed na po kayo sa application. So actually, more details of that are here, no? In the frequently asked question number 6. Ayan. So ang kailangan nyo lang pong i-provide is yung mga details na ito para ma-include po namin yung inyong school name sa system. Tapos i-email nyo lang po sa region, halimbawa sa region 10, dito nyo po i-email. Ayan. Next po is yung last day of online application and uploading of requirements. Ang deadline po natin is on December 31, 2023. At ang schedule po ng qualifying examination is on April 6 to 7, 2024. Now, bago po tayo pumunta sa mga requirements, may mga importanteng bagay lang po na kailangan nating i-discuss. So, una, kailangan po meron kayong valid or active na email address. So, During registration po, kailangan nyo pong mag-provide ng valid email address at may ma-receive din po kayo na email for the next step. So, kailangan po talaga valid and active na email address. You will also need to submit an alternate email address, no? So, dalawang email address po yung inyong gagamitin during the registration. Para in case po na mag-fail yung isa, at least may pwede pa po kaming i-contact na isang email. Kailangan din po meron kayong working mobile number or numbers. So, para makontak po namin kayo pag kailangan po namin ng mga information or may need po kaming i-verify relative to your application. Now, next is security of access credentials. So you will be assigned an application ID once you are eligible to apply for the scholarship. So ingatan nyo po, i-keep nyo po yung inyong application ID, i-note nyo po para hindi po siya mawala. Kasi need nyo po yung inyong application ID para kayo ay makapag-login sa inyong account pag kayo ay eligible na to apply for the scholarship. At a little reminder lang po, no to multiple accounts. Huwag po tayong mag-create ng maraming account po para hindi po ma-delay yung pag-access nyo ng inyong application form or di kaya pag-submit ng inyong application. And upon application po, kailangan nyo din pong kailangan din po na may stable internet connection. Ayan po. So, syempre, yung ating application ay online, kaya kailangan po stable yung inyong internet connection. Ayan, little reminder din po, beware of other websites that contain outdated information about the DOST scholarship program. Ayan, so mag-ingat po tayo. No, lalong-lalo na kung hindi sa website ng DOST SCI galing yung mga details or di kaya yung mga forms, no? Ito lang po yung official website ng DOST SCI for the application at ang official website po ng SCI is sci.dost.gov.ph. Now, punta naman po tayo sa mga requirements. So, these are the documents that you must prepare no, prior to filing your DOST SCI undergraduate scholarship application. So, kung makikita nyo po sa baba, meron po tayong a total of 13 documentary requirements. Ito po yung mga kailangan nyong i-prepare para po makapag-apply kayo sa DOST scholarship. So, for requirement number 1 to number 8, ayan po kung makikita nyo po, may nakalagay po siya ng mga forms, no? From Form CD, Form E, F, G, H, I, J. So, ito po yung, itong mga requirements po na ito from number 1 to number 8 ay downloadable po na forms. So, all you have to do is click this gray button here, Download Scholarship Form C2J, click nyo lang po yan at pwede nyo na pong ma-download yung mga forms. So, ito po yung gagamitin nyo. Ito po yung ida-download nyo, ipiprint, susulatan ng details, kapapapirmahan po sa mga authorities or mga personnel po na kung ano po yung name or naka-indicate po na personal na pipirma po. So, nandito na po siya lahat. So, i-discuss ko po yan one by one kung paano po i-fill out yung mga forms. At, yeah. So, let's proceed with the first one, Certificate of Good Moral Character. So, ang isasubmit po natin is Form C. Yan po, pero bago po tayo mag-proceed, no? So in any case po na yung Form C, yung form namin sa DOST ay hindi po pipirmahan ng authorized personnel kasi halimbawa ang pipirma po dito ay yung principal or di kaya yung guidance counselor. If may provide po sila na separate na certification of good moral character, pwede po na yun na lang po yung inyong isasubmit for this requirement po. So, simulan po natin sa Form C. Ayan, Certificate of Good Moral Character. Ito po yung Form C. So, ang kailangan nyo lang pong gawin ay isulat po yung name ng applicant. Ayan, tapos papipirmahan nyo po either sa principal or di kaya sa guidance counselor. So, dapat nakasulat po dito yung printed name and signature ng principal or ng guidance counselor at ang date po kung kailan napirmahan. Now, for the next requirement po, yung Certificate of Good Health, pwede nyo pong gamitin yung Form D. Pwede din po yung medical certificate na binigay sa inyo ng hospital, ng private hospital, government hospital, or kahit sa school clinic po. Ayan. Kung yung Form D naman yung gagamitin nyo, ito po yung guide no, kung paano i-fill out yung Form D. Silagay nyo lang po dito yung name ng applicant, tapos printed name and signature po ng physician, ng nurse, o di kaya ng midwife na um, assess po ng inyong health or ng inyong health condition, no? So, yung name and signature niya, tsaka yung kanyang position or designation po. So, halimbawa, physician or nurse. So, pwede din po pala sa barangay health center kung meron silang doctor or nurse or midwife na pwedeng um, assess po sa inyong health condition. Ayan po. Lagay nyo rin po dito yung license number tsaka date po kung kailan na permahan yung Form D. So, ang kailangan lang naman pong i-certify is the applicant is of good health and is fit to study in college. Ayan. So, dapat kumpleto po yung details na kailangan ilagay dito. Lalong-lalo na po yung license number. Next requirement po is the principal certification. So, meron po tayong iba-ibang form, no? Depende po yun sa inyo sa inyong status or sa inyong status po. So, ang gagamitin nyo po ay Form E1 kung ang applicant ay grade 12 student in the STEM strand or under the STEM strand. Form E2 naman po ang gagamitin if ang applicant po ay under the non-STEM strand and belongs to the upper 5% of the class. Form E3 po ang gagamitin kung ang applicant is attending homeschool. Form E4 po ang gagamitin if ang applicant ay under the Alternative Learning System or ALS. And Form E5 po ang gagamitin kung ang applicant ay graduate na ng high school before the K-12 program and he or she belongs to the upper 5% of the graduated class. Ayan po. Now, pwede din po pala for the principal certification ng isasabit nyo ay certification po galing sa school na nakalagay po na kayo ay under the STEM strand for the school year, halimbawa for the school year 2023-2024. Pero kung ang Form E po ang gagamitin nyo, ito po yung guide kung paano i-fill out yung Form E. So for Form E1, need nyo lang pong isulat yung name ng applicant, name ng school, at yung school year. Kung kailan gagraduate or kailan nag-graduate. Yan. So, lagay nyo rin po yung printed name and signature ng principal and date kung kailan napirmahan yung Form E1. For Form E2, no, for those who are under the non-STEM strand, ang kailangan nyo lang pong isulat is yung name ng applicant, name ng school, yung school year kung kailan graduating or graduated, and dapat classified po sa upper 5% for the specific total number of graduating students. Ayun, halimbawa po 500. And po, ang magsusulat po dito is yung school po. For Form E2 pala, meron po tayong note dito sa baba. So if the applicant is an ongoing grade 12, so please certify based on the applicant's academic standing as of grade 11. Ayan po. Kung ongoing grade 12, ang babasihan po if you belong to the upper 5% is yung grade 11 na standing. Pero if graduated na po ng grade 12, so ang babasihan po is yung grade 12 na standing. Lagay niyo po dito yung printed name and signature ng principal and date kung kailan po napirmahan yung form. For Form E3, for applicant attending homeschool, ang kailangan nyo pong isulat is yung name ng applicant, yung name ng school, ayan, nakacertify din po na dapat siya ay graduating grade 12 student in school year 2023-2024 and belongs to the upper 5% of the class. Sulat niyo po dito yung printed name and signature ng principal. Of course, yung principal dapat yung magsasign at saka date po kung kailan napirmahan yung form. For Form E4 naman, for applicant under ALS, so ang kailangan nyo lang pong gawin is isulat yung name ng applicant, name ng school, kailan nag-complete or kailan makakomplete yung ALS niya, no? Kung anong school year. Tapos isulat nyo rin po yung name ng principal, tapos papapirmahan nyo sa principal and the date. Sulat nyo rin po yung date kung kailan na pirmahan yung form. For Form E5 naman, for those applicants who graduated in high school before the K-12 program and are eligible no to enroll in college next school year, so ito po yung inyong gagamitin. So sulat nyo lang po yung name ng applicant, name ng school, kailan nag-graduate, and dapat isi-certify po ng school na pepperma no kung na you belong to the upper 5% of the graduated class. Again, nakasulat po dito yung name ng principal, tapos pipirmahan niya ng principal, and of course, the date kung kailan na perma. Now, for the next requirement, certificate of residency. So, pwede nyo pong gamitin yung Form F. Pwede din po yung certificate of residency na galing sa barangay. Pero make sure po na kapag ang certificate of residency na galing sa barangay ay naka-indicate po kung ilang years na po kayo nakatira sa inyong current address. Ayan po. So for Form F, ganito po yung pag-fill out. So isulat nyo lang po yung name ng applicant, tapos yung complete address po, meron po tayong guide dito sa baba. Tapos i-check nyo lang po kung less than 4 years na ba kayo sa address na yan or 4 years or more. Tapos sulat nyo po yung name dito ng barangay official or di kaya ng principal, tapos papapirmahan nyo sa kanila at ang date po kung kailan na permahan. Next requirement is the parent certification. Ayan, so applicant has no pending immigration application to another country. So di nyo na po kailangang pumunta sa immigration no para makakuha ng certification na ito. So need nyo lang pong i-fill out is yung Form G. So for Form G, ganito po yung pag-fill out. Sulat nyo lang po yung name ng applicant. Tapos, ang pipirma po dito is either ang parent, ang legal guardian, or spouse kung ang applicant po ay married. So, halimbawa, yung name ng parent ni Juan de la Cruz is Teresita de la Cruz. Tapos, pipirmahan po yan ng kanyang mother. And, isusulat niya po yung date kung kailan na pirmahan yung form. Next requirement is the DOST SCI Scholarship Examination Award. So, ang isasubmit nyo lang po or if you fill out is yung Form H. So, for Form H, ayan, na may nakalagay po na instruction na check appropriate box. So, check nyo lang po kung ano po yung applicable. So, halimbawa, if you have not applied for a DOST SCI scholarship before, so check nyo po yung first box. If you have applied for the DOST scholarship before pero di kayo nag-qualify, check nyo po yung second box. If nag-qualify na kayo pero di nyo in-avail yung award, so check nyo po yung third box. So, isa lang po yung i-check nyo. Sulat nyo po yung name ng applicant, tapos pipirmahan niya ng applicant, tsaka date kung kailan pinirmahan. Sulat din po yung name. Dapat nakalagay din po dito yung name name and signature ng parent o di kayo ng guardian or di kayo ng spouse. Ayan, tsaka date po kung kailan na pirmahan yung form. Next requirement po is the applicant certification of no post-secondary units. Ang gagamitin po natin is ang Form I. So, ganito po yung pag-fill out ng Form I. All you have to do is just put the name and have it signed by the applicant, no? And also the name and signature of the parent, the guardian, or the spouse. Syempre, dapat nandito din po yung date. Next requirement po is the signed declaration of applicant and the parent or legal guardian. So, ang gagamitin po natin dito is yung Form J. So, for Form J, ayan, medyo mataas. Marami po yung nakasulat dyan. Pero, ang kailangan nyo lang pong gawin is isulat yung name ng applicant, tapos pipirmahan niya yan, tsaka date po kung kailan pinirmahan. Nakalagay din po dapat dito yung printed name ng parent, ng legal guardian, or ng spouse, tsaka yung kanyang signature. And of course, the date. Now, meron po tayong special instruction no, for Form C to Form J kung ito po yung inyong gagamitin. So, kailangan nyo po siyang i-print no, in a size A4 bond paper. Ayan po. So, have these forms accomplished by the proper authorities, official or persons as indicated in the form. Number 3, make sure that each form is signed. So, kailangan make sure nyo po na may perma po lahat ng form. Next, scan or take a picture of each accomplished form and save file. For the naming, no, the naming of the file, so ganito po yung ating format, your last name dash the form, the type of form. Ayan. So halimbawa, De La Cruz dash form A, form C, ayan, or form J, ganyan po. Submit each form using the upload module in the e-application system. Use the appropriate upload field for each file and ensure that the files uploaded are correct and complete. So ito po yung special instruction number 6 and number 7. Hindi pa po ito applicable sa ngayon kasi hindi pa po available yung e-application system. So later na po on our next video. Now, next requirement po aside sa Form C to J is your recent picture, passport size. Ito po yung specific details no, ng size po ng passport size. Ayan po. So, meron po tayong special instruction. It must show the face of the applicant, 80% of the picture. Must be colored and with white background. With the name tag, position at approximately 1 inch or 2.54 cm below the chin. Kailangan nakasulat po yung full name, no, handwritten first name, middle initial, the last name, and the extension. So halimbawa, Juan C. de la Cruz Jr. And of course, nakalagay din po yung signature above the name. And dapat din po, yung passport size picture na isasubmit nyo ay taken within the last 3 months prior to filing the application. So, meron po tayong sample picture here. Click nyo lang po yung button na sample picture. Ayan. So, ito po yung tamang format ng passport size picture. Ayan, hindi po siya 1 by 1, hindi po siya 2 by 2. Ayan, ito po yung passport size. Ayan, merong picture, merong name, tsaka ito po yung signature. So, careful lang po on following this format, no? May iba po kasi na kung ano po yung name, ayun din po yung kanilang perma. But it doesn't have to be the same to others. So, name po, nakasulat dito, tapos dito po ay signature po talaga. Halimbawa lang po ito ng signature, full name yung kanyang ginamit. Ayan. So, bawal po na picture lang, bawal din po na picture tsaka name lang. So, dapat po talaga picture, the name, and the signature. Now, next requirement is the birth certificate. So, alam naman natin kung ano yung birth certificate. Ang kailangan nyo lang pong gawin is make sure na readable yung copy or scan copy or picture na isasubmit nyo. So, pwede po siya issued by PSA, pwede din po by NSO, or di kaya sa Municipal Registry Office. So, scan nyo lang po or take a picture of the birth certificate. Next requirement is the proof of income of your parent. So, either your father or mother, or kung wala yung legal guardian, or kung married ka, your spouse, proof of income. So, isa lang po sa mga option na ito, yung inyong pipiliin, no, or isasubmit sa online application system. So, pwede po na 2022 income tax return, kung meron pong ITR yung inyong parent, pwede din po yung BIR Form 1701. If working abroad or OFW po yung inyong parent or parents, ang isasubmit nyo po ay yung copy ng kanilang employment contract na naka-indicate po yung kanilang monthly salary. If you are exempted naman po sa tax, so you can submit BIR Certificate of Exemption from filing of ITR. Pwede din po mag-submit ng Certificate of Indigency na makukuha sa barangay. Pwede din po Certificate of Employment with compensation. So, nakalagay po yung monthly salary or annual gross income. Pag ang parent naman po, legal guardian or spouse ay retired na, pwede din po proof of pension. So, nakalagay or naka-indicate po sa certification or sa proof of pension yung amount na nare-receive monthly. Special instruction for the proof of income, kailangan po clear at dapat signed copy po yung ating isasubmit. Pag ITR po halimbawa, dapat yung annual gross income po ay clearly na naka-indicate sa document. And the particular document po depends on the parent's class of worker. So pag i-click nyo po itong class of worker or di kaya itong button na ito, makikita nyo po dito kung ano yung document na pwedeng isubmit depende po sa class of worker. So halimbawa po dito, pag OFW po yung inyong parent, pwede nyo po isubmit either ITR, either OFW employment contract, or di kaya Certificate of Employment with Compensation. Yan po. So on and so forth. For the ITR pala, meron din po tayong sample ITR here. So kung ITR ang isasubmit, make sure na ang year na nakalagay is 2022. Dapat nakalagay din po or naka-indicate dito sa taas yung annual gross income and dapat signed po siya ng employer at saka ng employee. So dapat nandito po yung name ng employer tsaka signature, name ng employee tsaka signature. Now, the next requirement po is the notarized affidavit of guardianship. So, applicable lang po ito if the applicant is being supported by a guardian other than the parent. So, kung guardian po yung pipirma doon po sa ating mga forms, kailangan po may nakasupport na notarized affidavit guardianship. Pwede nyo po itong makuha in any law offices po na malapit sa inyo. Tapos, yun po, submit nyo lang po. Pero pag available naman po yung inyong parent, kasama niyo naman po sila, tapos sila yung pipirma sa mga forms, no need na po to submit a notarized affidavit of guardianship. And kapag ang applicant po ay married, so need niya pong mag-submit ng marriage certificate. Okay, so those are the requirements po no, that you have to prepare prior to filing your DOST-SCI undergraduate application. Now, other information that you should know before filing your e-application, filing your application no, sa DOST scholarship, need nyo pong malaman kung ano yung annual gross income ng father nyo or di kaya annual gross income ng mother nyo. If ang applicant ay married na, ang need niya pong alamin is yung annual gross income ng kanyang spouse. But if with legal guardian, no, if legal guardian po ang nagsusupport sa applicant, yung annual gross income naman ng legal guardian. So if the family received contribution from outside source, the giver, the amount of the contribution and the purpose of the contribution. So halimbawa, I am an applicant no and I am receiving monthly contribution from my relative abroad. So ilalagay ko po dito yung giver is yung let's say yung aunt ko and then the amount of contribution halimbawa 10K per month and the purpose is to support my studies. Ganun po. If family owns agricultural land, need nyo pong malaman kung ilang hektarya po yon. For number 7, if family owns a vehicle, ang need nyo pong malaman is yung type ng vehicle, year, tsaka model. So halimbawa for the type, tricycle, passenger jeep, owner jeep, car, or di kaya van. Tapos year and model is halimbawa 2022 Toyota Revo. Now, the next one is the steps in filling out the undergraduate scholarship. Nung pag ready na po, tapos available na din po yung ating e-scholarship system, pag i-click nyo po ito, dapat available na po yung registration na part. Pero sa ngayon, hindi pa po siya available. Kaya ito pa lang po yung lalabas pag i-click natin yung register na button. So, sa next video na lang po namin ipapakita kung paano po mag-register at kung paano gamitin po yung e-application system. So proceed muna tayo sa mga detalye sa baba. No, ito po yung mga steps. Actually, we have 5 steps no na ifa-follow pag gagamit na po tayo sa e-application system. So step 1 is just register using your valid email address. Then you will be receiving an email no for verification. Ayan. Pag naka-receive na po kayo ng email, nakalagay na po doon yung link, no, for the eligibility module para malaman po natin kung eligible ba kayo to apply for the scholarship. Meron po yung mga question or may naka-prepare po na questionnaire for the eligibility module. Now, after answering the eligibility module, if hindi po kayo eligible to apply the scholarship, you will be receiving a notice of disqualification in your email. But if you are eligible po, ayan, you can proceed to the next module. This time na po, ma-receive nyo yung inyong application ID para gagamitin nyo po pag login, no, in case, for example, hindi nyo po muna itutuloy yung application ngayon, tapos babalikan nyo lang later. So, yung gagamitin nyo po is yung application ID para makapag-login. So to proceed with the next module, ito yung personal data, yung contact information, family data, financial contribution, meron din po tayong household information questionnaire. Ipaprovide nyo rin po yung inyong school information na ang pinaka-last na part po is yung pag-upload ng documents. So meron po tayo mga specific requirements under the uploading of documents. So ito lang po yung mga file type na ina-accept ng ating e-scholarship application system, no? Pinakamadali dito is yung PDF file. Now, you can actually upload multiple files, no? Up to 5 MB per upload. So you can, halimbawa, you can take a photo of each of the 3 pages of your parents' proof of income. And then, as a result, you need to upload 3 different files for the same requirement. So, halimbawa, iba-iba yung file pero sa same requirement lang. So, para ma-upload nyo yan, you need to click the upload file button and select all the files to be submitted. So, i-select nyo po siya sabay. So, parang i-highlight nyo ng sabay yung tatlong files para sabay din po siya ma-upload. So, hindi siya pwedeng upload ng isa muna tapos upload next. Hindi po ganun. Kasi ang mangyayari po doon is kung ano po yung pinaka-last na na-upload, yun lang po yung successfully uploaded na file. Hindi lahat ng files. So, after selecting the files, may makikita din po kayo na preview para ma-make sure nyo po na ang na-select nyo po ay correct and complete files. Ayan. So, pag sure na po kayo sa na-select nyo na file, correct at saka complete na, you may now click the upload button. Ayan, so as mentioned, no, may nakalagay po na preview button para ma-check nyo po kung tama talaga yung file na na-upload. So halimbawa, Form C talaga yung na-upload. So may ibang cases kasi na ang Form C ay ibang form ang na-upload. So pag ganun po, maaring maging dahilan na hindi na po kayo makapag-proceed with the examination. May mga ganong cases po. Now, after that, after the uploading of documents po, isa-select nyo po yung test center location. Ito po yung kung saan kayo magti-take ng exam. So, only the successful applicants will be able to select their test center location preference. So, pwede nyo pong piliin yung near the permanent address or di kaya near the current address or near the school address. Depende po yan sa inyo. So, this preference po will be the basis on the location where you will be assigned to take the examination. So, you can no longer make changes in your test center location preference once na-submit nyo na po yun. So, importante po talaga na you really take into consideration your possible whereabouts on the date of the examination. Ayan. And step 5, make sure that you have accomplished all the modules. Ayan, lahat ng modules kompleto na-provide na lahat ng details, na-upload na-check na-review na po yung mga na-upload na documents. Ayan. Si-certify nyo po na true information and correct spelling yung inyong nailagay, no? Before you press the submit button. Kasi po, once nga na-submit or na-click na po yung submit button, you can no longer make any changes in the information you provided or even the file you uploaded. Now, after that, pag successful na po, na-submit nyo na po yung inyong application, all you have to do is wait for the issuance of your test permit. So, ang test permit po ang gagamitin nyo for you to be able to take the exam. Ayan. So, the pen and paper examination is scheduled on April 6 to 7, 2024. So, hindi po 2 days yung ating exam ha. Like, 2 days po kayo magte-take ng exam. So, one session lang po yan. Either sa April 6 kayo schedule morning or afternoon session, or di kaya sa April 7 kayo schedule morning or afternoon session. Now, the qualified applicant will be issued a test permit kung saan nakalagay po yung details ng kanyang test center and test session. Ayan. And other pertinent information relative to the examination. So, this will be sent to the applicant's registered email address sometime in February 2024. Ayan. Now, after nakapag-take na po kayo ng exam, all you have to do is wait for the announcement of these qualifiers. Ayan, i-check nyo lang po yung SCI website, ito po, for the announcement of the scholarship qualifier. So, tentatively on June 2024. Pag kayo po ay nag-qualify, may ma-receive po kayo na notice of award through your registered email address. Now, if you are wondering, no, kung kailan po yung effectivity ng scholarship award, so a qualifier who accepts the scholarship award must attend the orientation first on the scholarship policies and sign the scholarship agreement to become a DOST-SCI scholar. Now, after that, the scholarship award will be effective na the first semester of academic year 2024-2025 kung kailan po kayo magsisimula mag-college. Ayan. So, if you have questions or inquiries regarding the scholarship or the system, you can contact the UST-SCI using this email address or these telephone numbers or mobile numbers. You can also visit the frequently asked question. Baka nandito po yung inyong mga tanong. Nandito na rin po yung mga sagot. Ayan po. And lastly, you can read thoroughly about the UST-SCI undergraduate scholarship by clicking this one. Ayan po. Tapos, select nyo lang po yung SNT Undergraduate Scholarship. Nandito na po yung details about the scholarship. So, halimbawa, yung types of scholarship, no? We have two types, the merit and the RA. So, if you're wondering kung ano po yung difference ng dalawa, based po ito sa income ng inyong parents. So, meron po kaming certain cut-off. So, if you are below the cutoff, no? So you will be categorized under RA 7687, and above the cutoff, you will be categorized under the Merit Scholarship Program. Now, for the priority S&T programs or yung mga courses na pwede nyo pong kunin once you become a UST scholar, ito lang po yung titingnan nyo kung nandito ba yung gusto nyo na course. So, wala pong BS Nursing, wala pong BS Accountancy. Ayan. So you can view this first before you decide to apply for the scholarship kasi baka wala po dito yung inyong dream course. For the study placement naman, you can enroll in UP or in any state universities and college as long as nandito lang po sa list yung inyong course. Pwede rin po kayong mag-enroll in any of the private institution as long as yung course po ay recognized by CHED as Center of Excellence, Center of Development, or at least FAAP Level 3 accredited. Next po is yung scholarship privileges. Ayun, kung makikita nyo po, nandito na po lahat ng mga details na kung ano po yung matatanggap ng mga DOST-SCI scholars. So for tuition and other school fees, only for scholars enrolled in the private institution, no actual fees up to 40,000 per academic year. Learning materials, ayan, 10,000 per academic year. Monthly living allowance, 7,000 per month. Clothing allowance, 1,000 pesos first sem of first year only. Ayan, meron din transportation allowance, group accident and health insurance, thesis allowance 10,000 and graduation allowance na 1,000 pesos. For the mid-year term naman or summer allowance, no, as long as yung mga subjects na kinuha sa summer are required sa curriculum, may receive din po ng mga benefits yung ating mga scholar. So for tuition and other school fees, actual fees up to 10,000 pesos only. For learning materials, 2,000 pesos. And of course, meron pa din pong monthly living allowance sa summer, no, 7,000 pesos per month for 2 months. po other details, qualification, requirements, application period for further inquiries sa inyong online application system natin. Nandito na po yan lahat sa website ng STI. Again po, mag-ingat po tayo sa mga uh, ibang post na nakikita natin sa social media. No? Ito lang po talaga yung website ng UST SCI, kaya ito lang po yung dapat yung i-visit para makapag-download ng forms, hindi kaya malaman nyo kung ano po yung process ng ating application for the 2024 undergraduate scholarship. Ayan, on our next video po, ituturo po namin kung paano gamitin po yung e-application system once available na po. So the details, no, kung, or the availability of the application system will be announced soon. Thank you very much for watching.